It's episode 3.
The live edition.
We're going to try this version. Yes.
We're going to try this little live action here and see how that goes for you guys. Allow you guys to come in and interact with us, as well as still have the pre-recording once a week.
And comment on the stupid shit we say and correct us.
Exactly.
I'm still trying to adjust my camera.
Get that shit set up.
So what would... Yeah, go ahead.
So you were saying, you just said you got some big news just yesterday, right?
Well, it wasn't necessarily big news. It's more of a... Is a very along the lines of the Florida news and the Canada news. So I went to this job interview, and of course, the funny thing about the job interview is it was a formality. As I said before, it's not who you know, it's not what you know, it's who you know down here. And the lady interviewing me knew me. You know, I like literally called her personal phone. I'm like, hey, can I come in? She's like, yeah, sure. All right. So I went in, and of course I got the job because I knew her. And she says, oh, you need a couple white polo shirts to go to work in. I said, oh, perfect. All right. So I called my wife. I said, hey, let's go to Walmart real quick and pick up some shirts. And there's a version of Walmart here. It's called Chedraui. It's I call it the Mexican Walmart. And it's basically just like a Walmart. It's just different brands. And so we went, we got the shirts, checked out, and they have a like a frozen yogurt place there, and it was 2 for 1. She's like, well, let's celebrate, we'll get frozen yogurt. I was like, all right, cool. So we got our frozen yogurt, and there's a little food court area that we're sitting in to eat. We're eating our frozen yogurt, we finish them up, she's playing on her phone, and I, out of the corner of my eye, I see security from the store trying to stop this guy. And this guy keeps telling him, no, go away. And security's like, no. And I was like, well, that's odd. Because this guy was clearly not a Mexican citizen. I would easily say he's from South Africa or something. Seriously dark gentleman. And I say gentleman in the loosest term. But he's got, you know, the bags you get when you, like the reusable grocery bags?
Yeah, everybody's going green, so we've got... Yeah.
Well, they banned plastic here a while back, so he's got one of those slung over his shoulder, and once again, I'm not thinking anything about it. So I say to my wife, I said, hey, let's get going, we gotta go, let's get home, get something to eat. And there's sliding doors. You know, they do this. And he goes out just in front of us, and we are maybe 4 feet behind him as we walk out. And security pushes past me and goes to stop this guy again. And he reaches into said bag and pulls out a fucking 2.5 foot long machete.
Jesus Christ.
And starts swinging it around, and he tells the security guard, move! And I stepped in between him and my wife, and I said, let's go this way.
Yeah, right?
We'll go this way towards the parking lot. And so we, you know, got far enough away and watched for a minute, and then we were like, all right, let's get the hell out of there. This ain't going nowhere. And for the next like 25, 30 minutes, we were like, that's fucked up. And what pissed me off is I didn't record it.
Yeah, that's on you. How are you not? I mean, that's a golden opportunity.
I literally had my phone in my hand, and I didn't think about it at the time. I was like, well, let's get my wife safe and get the fuck out of here. And what's crazy about it is literally across the street is the police station.
Really? So this guy's just losing his
shit. It's a raised platform, so it's like this. You know.
Yeah.
There's like 15 steps, and then across the street, it's a raised parking lot. And because the terrain is not completely level. And like I said, we got all the way home, didn't think anything about it except for the fact that it was fucked up. And then I went, fuck, I wish I would have recorded that. And I was so mad that I didn't, that I was like, oh my God, that is. I said, I can't wait to tell Chris about this on the fucking podcast. This is genius. And I made sure not to say anything
I
when we talked, not live, or not on the podcast, because I didn't want to ruin it. But it was, it was a full on 2.5 foot long machete. And he's swinging around like he's in Game of Thrones, just rocking out. And I was like, let's go. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, yeah, because you texted me or messaged me and started talking about it. And I'm like, this jackass is going to forget all about it before we record again.
No, that's one of those things you don't forget. You don't forget a dude pulling out a 2.5 foot long machete and swinging it at a security guard. But the funny thing is, there's a security guard coming up behind me and my wife, and she's about as big around as she is tall. And she sees this guy pull his machete out, and the first thing she says is, "Oh no!" And I was like, "And your security?"
You definitely do not want your security freaking out.
She freaked the fuck out. And you can hear her on the radio, "Somebody call the cops! Somebody call the cops!" And I was like, "It's your security."
Yeah. Well, I worked for a company when I first came back home. When I just quit almost a year ago, but
right.
Everybody that was in security there, for the most part, was 100% non-confrontational. They didn't want to do anything that pertained to any issues with people because they were afraid. Of course, right. Then you had me, who didn't care, and one of our other guys was a former Marine, younger kid. He's younger than me, but he did his time and got out. And we're both like, I wish somebody would act the fool up in here. Right.
But my first thought was, I got to get my wife out of this situation. And my wife's just sitting there. When I saw him pull it out, and my wife was staring at her phone. And I was like, we got to go.
That sounds about right.
Well, she wasn't oblivious, because she was literally in the midst of a work conversation. So she had just gotten a message, and she looked down, and he screams, "Move!" And she looks up, and she's like, "Oh, yeah." And I said, "Yeah, we need to go. Let's go this way."
Yeah, let's get the hell out of here.
But I was like, that's some ScanBC Florida shit,
Yeah,
but like I said, this guy was definitely not a local. He was, if you would have turned the lights out, you wouldn't have been able to see him. He was the only thing he really said was "move." So it's not like he was speaking. I couldn't tell what language he was proficient in, but I'm assuming it was English.
It's best to just avoid that situation.
Stand back, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I wish I would have. I had a full battery too. That's what pissed me off.
Could have had some good footage, but
I know,
missed opportunity. Come on, man! I need you to be better.
Well, it's one of those things. It's our generation didn't grow up with the phone in our hand, so we don't think like that. And when you see a guy waving around a machete, the first thought is, well, let's get my wife out of here. So, but no, it was interesting. And today was a lot of BS. I had to run around to all hell's 3.5 acres just turning in paperwork for the office. Because before you start, you got to turn in proof of that I'm not illegal and an address, bank stuff, so they can do direct deposit and all that stuff. So I had to run all over hell's 3.5 acres, get that done. But so today was seemingly uneventful when it came down to anything cool happening. But
well,
but it was cool for what it was.
You're not going to run into cool shit all the time, but that's not our first thought. Being older, because when we were younger, the last thing we wanted was evidence of any of our actions. That's why you see when you look back at I have very few pictures from back when I was younger, but the ones I do have, all the pictures are like pre-party. There's nothing,
or the morning after.
There's nothing during or even the day after, for that matter.
Well, during morning after is usually somebody sleeping with a bunch of beer bottles around them, or sleeping in a weird position on the hood of a car or something like that. But nothing incriminating.
No, now that's everything. We got to make sure we have
That's the
pictures
norm.
and footage, and we're gonna go rob a bank. Let's record our planning and everything.
The new saying is, if it's not on the gram, it's a scam.
Oh, you're more in touch with these kids than I am. I ain't never heard that.
I heard that on a movie the other day. I heard that in a movie the other day, and I was like, "That's catchy as fuck."
Fair enough.
Yeah, but yeah, it's true. If it's anymore nowadays, if it's not on Instagram or on social media in general, it didn't happen.
What's up, Pop?
What's up,
Matt?
It's almost a what's called like a lie, like you're making it up if you can't prove it. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. My generation, we didn't have to prove it. Everybody was there anyways. If you weren't there, you weren't cool.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was hoping they'd have their comments synced up on here, but it doesn't seem like
they don't. No.
I've got sucks. Facebook pulled up.
I could
help us run through here.
Let me pull up my YouTube. Maybe it should be posting on there too. I doubt anybody's watching. Nobody ever watches my YouTube. It's like a fruitless endeavor.
Yeah. It's not going to happen live on there. That's more of a after the.
Oh, fact. No, it's live on YouTube.
No, I mean
it's live on YouTube.
People aren't going to watch it live on YouTube. I mean, even some of the bigger people don't have a lot of people in their YouTube lives.
Oh, that's not true. Adam Savage goes. He gets like hundreds of thousands of views when he goes lives. Because he does live builds. Like when I did the 3D wall art build for my client/cousin, he does builds like that where he just goes live and builds and talks. And speaking of which, I spoke to my cousin last night. He's going to send me some stuff. He's going to send me some M2A shirts, so that'll be cool. He's like, "Hey man, I need your address so I can send you some stuff." And I was like, "Okay."
They have merch. They got like a merch van.
Yeah. They got like a merch store going on, and I was like, "That's awesome."
Yeah.
But I also talked to Brad Bowden last night, and we talked about one of our school day friends. And you'll know who I'm talking about. Going to jail.
That could be any number of people from our.
Well, he used to fight with Tinny a lot.
Oh, I'm not surprised. No, he's been in there for a while.
Apparently, more meth than I could carry. Wigga G, what's up, dude? Some greetings be. Wigga G. Interesting name. But yeah,
what's up, G?
Apparently, dude had a barbershop for a while and then started dealing meth, I guess, and got busted with like a lot.
Apparently, there's more money there to be found in the meth game.
Well, my assumption is with the pandemic, he had to keep the barbershop open somehow with the pandemic thing.
It's hard to say.
Lockdown.
This fucking pandemic's hurt a lot of
oh my god,
local businesses, which
blows my mind because here everything's open.
Everything's been open here for the most part. We've just had a bunch of regulations and rules, and Daddy DeWine had us on a curfew, and it's just been silly around here. But speaking of the pandemic, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but there's a guy in Mansfield, Connecticut, who's a middle school teacher, and he raised over $40,000 to help families in this pandemic. With groceries and holidays, making sure the kids had gifts and everything like that.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to read it, but continue.
Now the government's coming after him, had been saying that he could owe up to $16,000 in income tax.
16,031. That's fucked up.
For running a charity. Now, obviously, it took on more than what he thought it was going to be. I think he wound up helping 125 families, 20 families so they could buy gifts for their children, 31 Thanksgiving dinners, and he was helping pay bills and people's rents.
What a fucking nice guy. That is the nicest thing I've ever heard somebody do. And then just get turned around and bent over and fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
That's messed up.
Now, he did release his 1099 onto Facebook to do a fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess anything more than $20,000 is taxable, even if it's charitable. So even though everything went to charity, he's eating it hard, man. Like, you can't even do a good thing without it biting you in the ass anymore.
Well, speaking of taxes, I just watched. Have you seen I forget John? I think his name's I want to say Stamos, but it's not Stamos. It's a guy I follow on Facebook. Let's see if I can find his page real quick. That's Charlie Kirk. He does these little quick 5-minute things about whatever strikes him. He talked about how the elections work. He talked about stuff, but he did one on taxes. And this girl who's like, compared to you and me and him, she's like 5, but she's like 20, something like that. Mm-hmm. And she wrote this book on taxes. And your income tax. How much would you guess your income tax? What percentage would you say you pay in income tax?
I don't know. I don't know anything about that shit.
Well, on average, it's roughly 20% of what you make. But your taxes, there's so many things that are taxed. It's ridiculous. For instance, if you stay in a hotel, just like the sales tax on that is like 40%.
And depending upon which state you're in and where you're at, the taxes are a lot higher or a lot different.
Well, in New York, there's a tax for sliced bagels.
I believe it. Bagels are a big deal.
If you get a bagel that's unsliced, it's one price. If it's sliced, you get another price.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just, they're the same price, but the sliced one is taxed, and your income tax is only about, I think you said like 10% of what you actually pay in taxes.
They got to make that money somehow, man. How do you think all those people get rich in politics?
Well, yeah, and that just goes to show you that there's what surprises me is no matter what, the country's still in debt.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing about this story is that the community is actually trying to get together and help him out. He's got an accountant that's trying to break it down and get him some breaks.
Get him a tax break.
That. Yeah, but the community's already sent him. It says about $2,000 to help him pay
towards
the bill.
The taxes.
Yeah, Matt, you ain't wrong, dude. Our government is definitely a joke, bro.
Which is one thing we try not to talk about, but I mean that's just one of the fucked up things that you hear.
There's a carbon tax in Canada, really? Gee?
Oh yeah, yeah. The carbon tax is based on like what they're trying to do now. They're trying to start that mileage tax. If I'm correct, I think that's basically the same thing, right, G?
Good Lord.
Well, or it might be a carbon footprint tax.
Let's say that's all they need is fucking gas prices are getting ridiculous anyway, so just charge me more to drive my damn car.
Kilometers, G. Sorry. Canada. No, that's one of the reasons I hear stories like this, and I'm like, thank God I live in Mexico. Because I don't pay taxes. I don't have to pay taxes because I pay sales tax, of course, but I don't have to pay income tax or anything like that as a foreigner. Exactly. And I don't have to pay tax in the States because I don't live in the States and I don't make my money in the States. So I have zero taxes. Little
Are they
loophole
really?
in life.
Are they really, Pops? My old man says they're trying to do something like that down here too.
Yeah, the mileage tax.
Yeah. Well,
The
talking
mileage
about,
tax isn't that on gas?
I don't know because this is obviously the first I'm hearing about it. But you're talking about these silly rule changes and silly laws. Here's one out of Burlington, Vermont for you.
Okay, go for it.
Vermont's largest city is banning the use of loud gas-powered leaf blowers.
Wait, say that again. I missed it.
They are banning the use of gas-powered leaf blowers because they're too loud.
Oh my gosh,
The city council has passed a phased-in ban this week in Burlington. It mandates moving to quieter, electric-powered leaf blowers, which will require for all departments in August. So they're going to already start 3 months away, 4 months away. The city departments and the townships and stuff like that is all going to go electrical. So now you're going to be trying to do street cleanup or the parks and this, that, and the other thing, and you're going to have 9,000 feet of extension cords spread out.
No, not necessarily true.
Unless they're batteries.
Because no, I think it's DeWalt or Milwaukee makes a battery operated leaf blower that is stupid powerful, and they make a weed eater one too.
Yeah, there's those, but this is that would make too much sense for a village
true.
or a city to go that route, and it probably costs more money than it would be to go buy
a gas powered one.
9,000 feet of extension cords and an actual electric leaf blower. That's going to be
it's like
all over the damn place.
I was telling you about that those guys I watch on YouTube, Goon Squad. They just bought a leaf blower. They needed a leaf blower for their house that they're building on their channel, and they found this electric one that came. It was like $300, but it came with the weed eater for free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where the weed eater was another $300, and they used it and they said it's stupid powerful.
Oh yeah, they can definitely be powerful, but it gets even better with this because this is supposed to be locked in by May of 2022, and it's supposed to help with air pollution, is what they're saying. But the same ordinance restricts the noise of electric leaf blowers to 65 decibels. So I don't know how loud the normal leaf blower is. They're saying that gas-powered
ones, they're not quiet.
They're saying gas-powered ones are 90 decibel. So you're going to restrict it to no more than 65 decibels. According to the CDC, which we all know and love the CDC.
Yeah, because they're so loud.
Honest. So they're saying the 65 decibels is about as loud as a typical washing machine. Leaf blowers are about to get real expensive, and there's going to be some companies that are about to make some serious money so that they can meet these requirements.
Well, Goon Squad, when they were using that battery-powered leaf blower, it was stupid quiet. I mean, they were talking while using it, and you could barely hear it except for the wind blowing out of the hose.
Yeah, that's.
They didn't say the decibel reading, but it was stupid quiet.
That's just insane to me. That
I'm all for the whole battery powered thing, but don't force people to do it.
Well, to say it's a noise ordinance, I mean,
yeah, but then you got assholes like me that have trucks with open headers.
Well, it's not even that. I mean, you look at all the other things as well as trucks and your car stereo.
and then you got if you have a barbecue, what are you gonna do? You're gonna put up a stereo system.
Yeah. Or if you have a group of people, they could be loud. So what? Your next thing you know, you're only allowed to have a barbecue as long as you have X amount of people, and they have to use their.
Well, they did that during the lock. They did it during Thanksgiving. People were in I believe it was in Canada. G backed me up here on this, but in Canada they had people calling the cops on their neighbors because there's more than 6 people in the fucking house.
Oh, it was like that in New York too. I mean, it was insane. In some of the bigger cities and stuff.
Yeah, these are the people that don't understand the concept of snitches get stitches. Because you want to talk about a war, call the cops on me once for something dumb like having too many people in my house. motherfucker, I will burn your yard. I will light your yard on fire and go, I'm calling the HOA, homeowners association, on your yard looks like shit. I don't know why, but it just caught fire, but it's oddly right on the property line.
This guy is not taking care of his yard.
Yes, fuck this motherfucker. Yes, communist.
Unacceptable.
That was my biggest fear about buying this house. I asked the realtor, I say, hey, is there an HOA here? He's like, no. I was like, okay, we'll take it. Because I'm the kind of asshole that works on my car in my driveway, and if it's 2:00 in the morning and I finally get it running, I'm going to test it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I lived down in Charleston, we had an HOA, and I used to get letters on my door all the time about the dumbest shit, and it was just like, some of y'all really don't have anything better to do with your time except for sit and peek out your windows. I got a letter one time because I had a little area. I had a corner lot, so on the side of my house where it was at one point it was going to be a driveway, but it was never finished, so you just had the ramp.
Right.
But I came home with groceries one time. I just backed my car up right up to the door, took the groceries in, came down, and moved my car over to the street where I parked it. And that time that it took for me to take the groceries upstairs and unload everything and then move my car, somebody
gave you shit about that
and complained. And later that evening, I went outside for something, and there was a fucking letter on my door stating that if I didn't move the car from the illegal parking spot, that it would be towed and I would have a fine. And I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? I'm parked on the street where I always park. So I had to call them, and I was just renting there, but I had to call them and get into it. And I'm like, well, what the fuck are you guys talking about towing my car and finding me? I'm parked where I always park. There's nothing wrong with. And then the lady was like, well, you were parked beside the house. I said, I was there maybe 5 fucking minutes.
Unloading groceries. I don't have to walk 400 yards.
Yeah. I was like, you can take your notice and shove it up your ass. You guys need to find something better to fucking do with your time.
Well, and speaking of people that can't mind their own business, I saw a video today on Facebook because while I was cooking dinner, and I like to have my phone there, and I scroll through Facebook videos because that's where I get my news. We'll not go into that, but this lady, these two guys are sitting on a train. Now they're taking a train. And they're in their seats, and they got the little table in front of them, almost like a bar car kind of deal, and they're drinking coffee. Mm-hmm. And this lady gets her phone out, and she's like, blah, 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 because they didn't have their mask on while drinking coffee. And she's like, I got over 70,000 followers on Twitter, and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, hey, Karen, the best advice for the whole COVID thing is social distancing. If you're worried about getting COVID because this guy's drinking coffee and not having his mask on, which I'd like to see him try to drink coffee with the mask on, you're on a fucking train. Go to the front. Go to a different section.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, don't you have anything better to do with your time? So you have 70,000 followers on Twitter, and they all literally just make a complete
and not one of yourself. And not one of them were like, you're an idiot. But the funny thing was the conductor. So the conductor comes up and he's like, hey, what's the problem here? She's like, they're not having their mask on. He's like, well, I'll tell you what. Here's what we'll do. If you have such a problem with it, we'll call the cops and we'll have them deal with it. And all of a sudden she was like, well, she changed her tune real fast.
Yeah, it's a mind changer once the cops get involved, and then
she realized that she was in the wrong. She should have minded her own fucking business. Yeah, she would have literally gotten busted for harassment, and because these guys technically were doing nothing wrong. It's like if I go into a restaurant here, when certain places, if you go into any store or any place, any building, you have to have a mask on, and which I'm sure it's the same there. But if you're sitting at a restaurant, as soon as you're at the table, you take your mask off. Nobody cares.
Yeah, you're allowed to take your mask off at the table. If you get up to go to the restroom or when you get up to leave, technically you're supposed to put your mask back on.
Yeah, throw it back on, you know. But I've yet to run into somebody bitch to me about masks, because I literally wait until I'm ready to open the door to the store to put my mask on, and as soon as I'm out that door, my mask is back off because I'm that asshole.
Yeah, G. I don't think it's humiliating. There, G. G's in the comments. He said it's humiliating. I can't talk apparently. The mask, and he can't believe that we have to do it. But I mean,
no, I'll tell you what, G. I got the solution for that. Hold on, I got my mask in my pocket. Let me show you this. I got the coolest mask you can get. I'm not gonna fully put it on, but check this out.
Yeah,
I gotta move I gotta move my mic, but it's a mask with a face on it.
Yeah.
And
look, I don't like it. I think it's silly. I think it's dumb. But at the same time, I'm not that big of an asshole that I'm not going to put other people's feelings in mind. Look, if it makes everybody else feel better and it makes them feel comfortable, it's not that big of an inconvenience for me. I mean, outside the fact that I wear glasses, which I have seemed to lost my glasses. They might be on my bed now still. So they get fogged up. But I'll walk through the grocery store, and half the time I got the damn thing pulled down under my nose and half off my face anyways. Nobody says anything.
Yeah. My wife yells at me about
kind of
that.
Silly. But I mean, you look at other countries like China and Japan where their pollution is so bad, and they've
been wearing masks for years.
Yeah, their population is so large. They've been wearing them for years. It's a normal part of daily life for them. So
yeah,
you know, we'll get past it eventually. But it's just a minor, a major minor inconvenience for some.
And like I said, I got a buddy of mine. His mask says "fuck you."
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's a little too much.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was kind of cool. The coolest thing about it is I bought some pretty cool masks. I got me a couple Cleveland Browns ones. I got me some sports ones.
I'm actually in the process of building one.
You're building a mask?
Yeah, I'm making the Bane mask from Batman.
Oh, jeez.
Hell yeah. Out of foam. You know that foam you get for your garage floor?
Yeah.
I'm building it out of that. I got to find the tubing.
My buddy Kevin bought I think it was a unicorn mask or something like that, like the full-blown Halloween mask. And he's like, I'm going to wear this. I think this will be okay. And I'm like, you're such a jerk.
About 2 years before, when did the first Deadpool come out? The first Deadpool movie. When did it come out?
Oh, fuck, man. That's been...
I got to look it up.
6 years ago, something like that. It's finally acceptable to have blackface. I still don't think it's acceptable.
I say 2016.
I'm not going to sign off on that one, G.
Yeah, that's all you, G. That's the views and expressions expressed by our viewers are not views and expressions expressed by us. In 2016, when Deadpool came out, I was a huge Deadpool fan of the comics. So when the movie came out, I ordered from Wish a Deadpool mask. And now I have yet to use it to go into a store because it's a pullover mask. But I've thought about it. Yeah, you've seen it.
It's the only positive thing G could think of. Well, like I said, if above anything else, just do it to put others at ease. I do it as a common courtesy. Now, a lot of times because I drive truck, I go in and out of gas stations or truck stops. I don't wear a mask. There's a lot of guys that don't wear masks, and nobody says shit to anybody when you're at a truck stop or a gas station in Podunk Gas, Ohio.
Yeah.
Now, I have been in other places that Wendy's, for instance, you sons of bitches. Fuck you, Wendy's. I stood in line for like 5 minutes to order my food just to have this little, I'm going to be nice, this little girl behind the counter tell me, I can't serve you unless you have a mask on. And I was like, you couldn't mention that before I stood in
10
line
minutes ago?
all this time. She's like, well, we have these masks. And it was just a bunch of masks laying on the counter. And I'm like, now what the hell sense does that make that you're going to offer me a mask? That's not in a package. It's not sealed. It's been laying on the counter, and God knows how many people's hands or germs or whatever else are on it.
Little kids touching it.
Yeah, but I have to have a mask to order food. That don't, and not to mention the fact that I've already been standing here for 5 or 10 minutes. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I was like, it's not that big a deal. I'm not that hungry. I have no problem taking my money elsewhere.
Yep.
Like, I wasn't trying to be a dick to her, but at the same time, I was kind of a dick to her because
I watched a video on YouTube when they first started talking about everybody needs to wear a mask.
Yeah, exactly.
And did you see this guy? He bought like the Lone Ranger mask.
Yeah.
And he puts it on and he goes into the store and the guy's like, you got to have a mask on. He's like, I'm wearing a mask.
Yeah.
He's like, it's got to cover your mouth. He says, no, but this is my mask.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I was going to use that down here, but they actually call it a cubrebocas. It has cover your mouth. So I was
gee, you say, I'll trade you mask. Yours is cooler. How many kids are doing that in school? I mean,
I saw a meme about that. Yeah. I saw a meme about that. Honey, that's not the mask I sent you to school in. Well, yeah. Mom, Jimmy's was cooler and Billy's was cooler than him, so we traded.
Yeah. Fortunately, I don't think my kids have been a part of that, but at the same time, where my kids go to school, they've been back in school all year, and they've had 0 cases, knock on wood, of COVID in the schools.
Well, yeah, but your kids are older, but like for some reason the schools aren't even remotely open here. It's all online learning.
Last year,
which is great. But it's like the CDC has even said kids can't get it.
Yeah, it's not cool to have online learning when your parents work 10, 12-hour days. So they go to work all day and then they get home.
And then they got to do school.
Yeah, especially if you're a single parent or whatever. And you're trying to come home and do the nightly routine of dinner and, this, that, and the other thing. And then you got to sit down for 4 hours doing schoolwork, especially if you've got multiple kids. I mean, if you don't have the opportunity to sit at home and do the online learning for them, it's an absolute nightmare. And, for me, my ex-wife and I, we co-parent. So when I had the kids here, again, fortunately they were older. Grade 5 is hard. Grade 1 is hard.
Oh, it's
something that's hard.
It's difficult to express it to a kid.
Well, it's not even that. It's just the teachers were so vague on what they wanted that it's like, look, I'm already doing your job.
Yeah.
Help me out and explain it so that I can explain it to them. Don't just tell me, do this, this, and this. Well, that doesn't get me anywhere because they're still looking like a jackass. I look dumber than shit. My kids are trying to figure out how the hell I ever got out of school. But I mean, I've got a freshman, fourth grader, and a first grader, and the one in kindergarten. The kindergarten was easy, but still.
Color this.
Yeah. But
the hard thing for me is my kids all day long we speak English in the house. Well, they go to a Spanish speaking school, and they gave me like 5 books, and they're like, they need to do all this, and I'm like, and how would you expect me to teach my kids Spanish?
I've only been living here 20 years, and I haven't picked up a lick.
No, I mean, language. But it's like but like Mexican history.
Yeah.
I don't know shit.
Read a book, Cletus.
Yeah, right. Find one in English.
Meanwhile, you got those of us in America that you ain't from my country. You better speak English or get the fuck out.
I've heard that a couple times here, and I'm like, well, I was raised in the generation where you make the world conform to you, don't conform to the world.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how I do it. It's odd how many people are accommodating to my lack of interest in learning the language.
Well, I also think it's the area you're in as well because you are
it's a very tourist area.
A heavy tourist area.
Yeah, it's retarded with tourists. Yeah, I would say 70% of the locals speak English. What do you say?
I'm not gonna.
I'm not even going to comment on that because that'll just get me in trouble. My wife will hear me or something. I'll get cracked upside the head. You'll just see a hand reach into the car and That is funny though. Oh my gosh. I wanted to talk to you about something. I gotta find it here. Where is? That's not it.
Speaking of Mexicans,
yes.
my girlfriend is currently enjoying some margaritas.
Nice. I have to find what I'm looking for.
No.
All right. Here it is. We talked about this for a few seconds. This is Scan BC. Victoria Fire is responding to an apartment on Wilson Street to rescue a 3-year-old boy trapped in a Murphy bed. I don't understand how they couldn't get him out, where they had to call the fire department. A Murphy bed is not that complicated.
Okay, so just to be sure.
The Murphy bed is the one that literally folds up into the wall.
Oh, okay.
It's not like a collapsible couch, like a convertible couch.
Okay. Well, I was thinking. See, what I was thinking it was one of those ones that you see at the hotels or whatever when you get the bed and it's just they wheel it.
Oh,
in
and then they give you a cot.
Yeah, it's like folded up, and then you.
No, a Murphy bed is literally goes like this, and then you got your bed. This is your bed right here, and this is the wall, and it just folds up in it looks like a wardrobe. And I mean, how hard is it to pull it back down?
I mean, they could have got locked in, lodged. I mean, you're putting a kid in there, and then it clearly got. That sounds intentional. That sounds like somebody was like, I'm real.
Yeah, it sounds like so. Go jump on that bed, Billy. Jump on that bed. See what happens. Keep jumping on that bed. See what happens.
Real fucking tired of you today, Billy. I've had about enough of your shit.
This is another one on Scan BC. The police were responding to a 4200 block of Kadar after someone in a vehicle threw hot dogs at the Complement. I don't know what is Compent.
Hey Joe, the complex.
No, COMPLAINAT.
Complaint.
Yeah, that maybe.
Complaint.
Yeah, but that's the end of the sentence. And it's just, apparently somebody was complaining. The dude just threw a hot dog out the window, so they called the cops. He's like, "Yeah, fuck you." And they're like, "I'm calling the cops." It's a hot dog, dude.
Well, he threw a hot dog at the person that made the complaint.
But the police are responding after someone in a vehicle threw a hot dog at a complaint. So somebody was like, "Hey, put your mask on." He's like, "Fuck you," and threw his hot dog at him. Because that's the only thing he had in the car. He's like, "Well, fuck you." That's hilarious.
Oh,
this is here's the one with a 6-pack of Corona and a samurai sword. That was funny.
Was that the guy that was walking down the street with no pants on?
Yeah, it says police are responding to an area of Kadar. Same area as the hot dog, apparently. After complaints of reports of a male carrying a 6-pack of Corona and a samurai sword. It's The Walking Dead in Canada.
You got to protect your fucking Corona, man.
I guess.
Oh, excuse me. You can't
What is it with Canadians and couches? There's a fire crews responding to a resident to assist a dog with its head stuck in a couch. Help me, my dog. What the fuck?
Just break the fucking couch at that point. And you know, I understand how important dogs are to families because they become a member of the family. But at that point,
but your dog is stupid. You got a stupid dog.
Maybe they got tired of the dog shit and just shoved his head into the back of the couch or something.
Good
I don't know.
But I saw one the other day that was
how's it going, Doe? Welcome.
Here's one. Police are responding to Cedar Hills Golf Course for 2 males hitting golf balls at houses from the tee off.
They were hitting houses?
Well, like for instance, they're supposed to hit this way.
Yeah.
And somebody at the house over there is playing music or something. So they're like, you know what? Fuck this. And they just start hitting them this way because there's houses that way. I was like, that's some fucked up shit. Somebody pissed them boys off. But I saw one the other day that was the oh my God. Hold on. Let me read this. Oh, that's just fucked up.
Yeah.
Abertford, BC crews responding for a poisoning #hazmat call. Female patient had an accident with a can of liquid rubber. Has Get Flex Seal all over her face and her eyes. What?
They were huffing.
No. You know what it is? That you heard about that girl that put Gorilla Glue in her hair.
Mm-hmm.
Same concept.
So dumb. Why would you put Flexol?
Flex Seal.
Flexol, same fucking thing.
Well, the only thing I can think of is maybe she stabbed it with a screwdriver or something by accident.
No, what that was, never use sunscreen as lube. No, don't do that. What that was is they were huffing it to get high. Because have you ever seen the people who will huff like spray
anything?
What they do is they spray it into a paper bag, and then they hold it up to their face, and they huff it. Well, when they're done, they have that spray paint all over their face. So that's more than likely what she was doing, was trying to get high.
Yeah.
And now she had all that shit on her eyes and everything like that.
Here's
People
a cute one.
Dumb, man. They'll try anything to get high.
This is just cute. This is just so cute. West Shore RCMP are responding to Spoke and Kangaroo Road for a male dancing in the intersection.
Okay, was he naked? What was he doing wrong? Why did he
I'm assuming blocking traffic. I'm sure he's sitting at a red light and somebody's got that's a good fucking song. He gets up and starts rocking out. You know,
people do that on TikTok all the time.
I guarantee you, that's a TikTok video going on.
Speaking of TikTok, now that we're almost an hour into this and have yet to once mention them, let's go. I'm going to go ahead and throw out our social media out there. If you guys would like,
yes, please
go throw a follow and a like at Nonsensical Nonsense on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and yes, TikTok.
Oh my God. Victoria police are responding to the 800 block of Craig Flower Road for reports of a male yelling and urinating at passing vehicles.
How long ago was that? Oh, wait, that was Canada, wasn't it?
Yeah, that wasn't you, no.
I've been that guy more times than I can like to admit to.
He's like, hey, I'm trying to take a piss here. Fuck off.
Well,
that's hilarious.
I won't mention any names, but years ago, I had a buddy of mine, and we lived here in town. And we didn't live together. My wife and I lived together at the time. And we had a house, and we used to get together and drink beer and play video games. Well, we were too lazy to walk upstairs to go to the bathroom, so we would just walk out on the front porch.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be like, piss break. You go left, I go right. Take a piss, come back in. And there were several times we would be on the porch taking a piss, and a car would drive by, and we'd just be like, hey, how's it going? And it was like, what the fuck?
What's up? How you doing? We're like, is that dude taking a piss?
Like 2 o'clock in the morning, got my dick in my hand, standing on the porch. Hey, buddy.
Well, I do that. I was going to last night. My wife was, she went out with her friend. One of her friends is leaving town. They were going to like a going away party kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "You want to go?" And I was like, "No." Leave the house? What are you, crazy? So I was like, well, I am going to go to the store and I need to get something to drink. So I went to the store to pick up drink and smokes. And I got about halfway there, and the section I'm in, there's no houses. It's just dirt piles because they're creating a new road. And it's like 9:30, this is like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. And I was like, man, I got to piss. And every time I get ready to pull my dick out and take a piss, somebody would drive by, and I'm like, oh, this is retarded. So I had to wait I literally stood there smoking a cigarette going, oh, okay. Finally, after everybody's gone, I found a tree and took a piss. But you can get in trouble for that on the beach. Oh, my gosh, I got in trouble for that. 2002, almost got arrested for taking a piss on the beach. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. It's not like I was
a public area.
Yeah, it's not like it was noon on a Sunday or something. No, it's not like it was noon on a Sunday, but it was 2 o'clock in the morning. I'd left the bar after meeting some girls, and it was one of those times. The hotel they were staying in, they won't let you in if you're not staying there.
What were you?
So we were like, well, no, she was.
Oh, she was.
And
they wouldn't let you in, even though you were with her.
Yeah, it was weird. Oh, they do that a lot because of the simple fact that's what I used to do. And so we were like, well, let's just go hang out on the beach. Well, we'd been at the bar for like 6 hours drinking. After 6 hours drinking, you gotta pee. I'm not gonna go jump in the ocean.
I have peed.
And I went to a little corner.
An hour of drinking, let alone.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. But I went to a little corner section that nobody ever hangs out in and pissed. And all of a sudden, 2 cops come around the corner, and I'm sitting there moving my feet around in the sand to cover it up. And they're like, what were you doing? I was like, putting out a cigarette. And they're like, sure you were.
Oops, I spilled my beer on my crotch, says G.
Yes, I did. Look at that.
Who also called
but no, the beauty of it is Mexico is you can pretty much get away with anything for $20. So you literally just I was like, look here, shook his hand with a $20 bill in my hand. He's like, all right, I didn't see nothing. Have a good day. Don't do it again. I was like, all right, see you later.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of Mexico.
That's the beauty of being a man, is the world is our restroom.
Yes, it is.
Moment in time, no matter where we are, we can just take a piss. Whether it's legal or not is a totally different subject.
Or a good idea.
It's always a good idea. There's never a time where it's not a good idea. I mean, if I gotta go, I gotta go.
No puedo. Hold on 1 second. No puedo.
Of the gate.
It's not an idea. You just do it. Right?
I don't know because
No, esto funciona.
the beauty of our podcast.
Okay, permíteme.
Only here will.
Yeah, I gotta
walk up and start talking to my co-host.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he's asked me to help him move his car. His car died.
gone with the jam.
Okay.
How many is he in?
Sounds like a couple.
It sounds like a few. It sounds like a lot more than a couple. I used to work security in an apartment complex. I know the conversation you're about to have.
Yes. I'm trying to avoid it. He's a nice guy and all, but it's like there's sometimes it's like, dude, I'm busy. I can't just drop everything just because you need help, because unfortunately they think I don't have a life.
Well, I mean, you're a quote unquote stay-at-home dad who hates doing all of the stay-at-home dad duties. So
yeah. Give me a few minutes. Go ahead and keep the conversation going with the chat. I'm gonna run over here and help him real quick, or else he'll never leave me alone. So give me a few minutes. I'll be right back.
So now it's left upon me and my devices to try to keep this thing going. I mean, it's not like we're right in the middle of doing a live that will be then made into audio and actually posted onto our podcast page or anything like that. But it is one of these things where it's tough not to have your co-host right in front of you or right beside you, to eliminate distractions and all that good stuff. But I guess in order to keep this thing going, how about I roll into another little silly news article? And I actually think it's kind of a cool idea. I was reading this earlier today because I found this website. It's AP News, which everybody uses. All your radio shows and podcasting and news networks, they use AP. But they have a whole section called oddities, and it's just fun little stories. So one of the ones that I've seen was that in New Zealand, they've decided to lighten the mood at funerals with colorful coffins. This story is about a gentleman, Phil McLean's coffin. When it was brought into the chapel for his funeral, needless to say, there were gasps before a wave of laughter rippled through the hundreds of mourners. The coffin was shaped like a giant cream donut. Yeah, putting the fun back in funerals. So this was shaped like a giant cream donut. Now, this is for the benefit of you guys being live. Hopefully you can kind of see that if I can find my camera. I may post a picture of it on our Facebook page. But this guy, there's pictures of Lego-shaped coffins. He's got putters. He's got candy bar wrappers. All kinds of just Formula One cars, pianos, surfboards, fire engines. So this is becoming an extremely popular thing in New Zealand. So I think that could catch on across worldwide. I think it would be really cool to have your own unique coffin. They're probably going to be expensive as hell. Glittering coffins. I can't imagine how much a custom-made coffin like that would cost, but I think it would be pretty cool to have. Plus, like I said, it lightens as long as it has Wi-Fi. What do you need Wi-Fi in a coffin for? I mean, well, I guess if I was going to buy a coffin like that, I would probably want to get some use out of it while I was still alive. So I could see why you would want to, but you don't need Wi-Fi after you're dead. Not unless you. You can always turn your grave where you're buried basically when you get married, your plot into a hotspot. Now there's an idea, people. You'd never not have visitors. I have no idea why he's sitting in his car. I think his kids and his wife are home, so he's sitting out in his car to kind of go from there. Yeah, right. Same thing. It is what it is. Yeah, it's not much of a difference. But I think that's a cool concept to definitely lighten the mood of such a somber day. Because I've said it several times. When I die, I don't want people. Obviously, it's going to happen, but I don't want people crying and whatnot. Come and have a good time, man. Like, fucking hang out, drink some beer, listen to some music, laugh, joke. Remember the good shit. If there is any for you to remember, but a roast. Yeah. Come and have a roast over my dead body. Yeah, there you go. Roast the absolute shit out of me when I'm dead. That would be awesome. I'll take it. Now, how the hell did I do that? I lost my. Yeah, like I did. Yeah, like I sat in the car. But why is this not working now? Oh well, fuck it. I give up. This is what happens when you try to do 10 things at once. And you're left to your own devices, like only on this podcast. Now, those of you, there's some of you guys that are watching this, and you've seen what happened. Those that listen to this on Spotify or Anchor or wherever you listen to it, they're just gonna be like, "What the hell? Did he really just get up and walk out while they were recording?" Yeah, that really happened. I was left alone, which not a bad thing because being live streaming, this is kind of my world. It's where I live in. But kind of left to have a one-sided conversation. Talking to the wall over here. I'm sure my neighbors already think I'm crazy as it is, so. I seen this, and I actually heard this the other day. I just can't get over the funeral thing, the coffins. That's awesome. That really is a freaking awesome idea. It's a really cool concept to have. But so I seen this. Oh, welcome back to the podcast that we're recording.
I know, right? Unfortunately, if I didn't do it, he'd stand there all the time going, and
then you come back all winded and breathing like some kind of a weird predator on the other line.
Yeah, well,
what are you
the
wearing?
clutch burnt out. The clutch burned out on his car. The clutch burned out on his car. See? Is that the?
He is dying, right? You'll never see this or hear this on the likes
of
Joe Rogan or Opie and Anthony.
Yes, it's that interesting funness of living in a gated community where everybody asks you for help. Second to catch my breath. Holy shit! It's just a little Nissan Platina.
But with the coffin, we'll get him. We'll do a taco coffin for him, and then we can roast him at his funeral.
Yeah, no shit. Well, I'm a heavy smoker, and he's so drunk he just sat in the driver's seat and steered. And I was like, "What the fuck, dude?" Well, but his battery cable is so loose that I literally took the battery cable off, and I'm like, "There's your problem. That's why I won't start." Got it started, and then the clutch is burnt out. I'm like, nice.
Now, I was just reading over an article in New Zealand. There's a coffin maker who's decided to, as G put it, put the fun back in funeral.
Nice.
And he's making all these specially designed coffins. Like one gentleman died, and his coffin was a cream donut. But they've got Legos and pianos and fire trucks and stuff like that.
I saw something about that. They in some island, there was guys doing the same thing, but there was like one that looked like a surfboard on a wave or some weird shit like that. They weren't your standard coffins. Yeah. My dogs are barking like crazy because my neighbor, the guy sitting here, is talking on my phone to his wife, who has his phone. This is the price of being a nice guy. No matter what, you get bothered.
I very rarely get bothered by my neighbors, but they also don't see me very often. But also at the same time, I don't mind helping my neighbors. I know the lady next door, she came over last weekend. She's like, "I really hate to bother you, and you can say no if you want, but can you help me I just bought a new bed. Can you help me bring it up for?" She bought a bed for a little girl, just a little twin bed, but it was in a box. And I was like, "Yeah, I'll go down there and grab it for you."
Sí. Démelo, yo entra.
Dile el número.
Yes.
So, I don't know. I was brought up that you help your neighbors, take care of your neighbors. So,
which is what I try to do. Yes, sir.
Bueno. Ok. 998 son 40.
Oh,
But,
excuse
yeah.
me. Something just came up. I gotta leave now. All right, I'll see you.
Yeah, I know, right? I really apologize for that, but
I just got an
like I
invite on
said,
Xbox to play Call of Duty, so you go ahead. You got this, right?
like I said, it's not like I do that all the time. It's a one-time thing. Because the next time I will go, I'm gonna do this from inside the house because this is ridiculous. Because he knows I'm live and still talking loudly.
Mira,
You gotta get one of those rubber BB guns. Those BB guns that shoot the rubber
The rubber
bullets.
bullets, yeah, the plastic ones, yeah.
Just shoot them.
Start popping fuckers.
Right in the ass. Fucker turn into Speedy Gonzalez real quick.
Yeah. He says start coughing. I'm about to. Oh my gosh, it's 10,000 degrees. I put this jersey on because I was wearing just a wife beater today after I got home from work. I took my work uniform off and I'm just wearing a wife beater underneath. And I was like, that doesn't look good on a podcast that we're going live on. So I'll throw this on, forgetting that it's like 3 inches thick. I didn't think I was going to be pushing a car either.
We're not like, if we do a lot, it doesn't matter what you. It's not like we're glamorous. Well, I mean, I am. I'm a good looking son of a bitch. I can't say much for you, but
I am not.
It don't matter what the hell you put on.
Yes, but I mean, I figured me sitting here in a wife beater in my car just didn't look good.
I mean, as long as you have clothes on.
Well, that's true.
You know, that's a whole nother situation. Speaking of, that was actually an unintended perfect segue into this one. I got this one for you. Speaking of Canada,
please, I need a moment to catch my breath. So,
Canada lawmaker got caught naked during a video conference. So they were doing like a Zoom meeting. Going over for the House of Commons. They were discussing whatever they discussed, politics and whatnot. And he had just got done working out, and according to him, he didn't realize that his camera was on. He thought he had it off, so he was just changing into his suit, like his his business attire, because they are working, but
right. So you put on at least the top half of your body. You put something nice on.
Yeah, well, he was changing. Well, William Amos, who has represented Quebec District of Pontiac since 2015, he appeared on screen of his fellow lawmakers completely naked. Ass naked.
Assed out, ready to rock.
Yeah.
He says he's a perv.
Right? He's back. Oh, look, now we got Facebook comments. I don't know who said it.
Oh, awesome. Well, they did that the last time you and I went live. The first time we went live on here. Yeah. But it says Facebook user, so we have to actually be on Facebook to find out who said it. But
because of the pandemic, they've been required to participate in their sessions by a video conference
via Zoom, right?
More likely the Zoom. They got a screenshot of it. The Canadian press shows Amos just standing. Now I'm just looking at the little picture here, and obviously you can't see his junk and anything like that. But he's standing between the Canadian flag and what looks like I'm assuming the Quebec flag. He's standing between them at his desk, just ass naked,
assed out, nice.
And he appears to have a mobile phone in one hand. So it's like, what were you doing with your mobile phone? Because if I'm coming out of the shower, if I'm here by myself at home, I walk from the bathroom to my bedroom, after I dry off. But my cell phone is either A, in the bathroom, or B, in my bedroom.
On the charger.
Yeah, the scandemic Pornhub flagging.
Yeah. Well, if you go onto YouTube, you can put in like Zoom fails. And there's a bunch of people where they're like, you can see they're finishing up their Zoom conference. And they're like, well, I'm on the computer anyway, so I'm going to go on to Pornhub. And you could, they don't realize the camera's still on and they're getting ready to whip it out. And And they're getting phone calls going, why is my phone ringing all of a sudden? I just talked to this dude. I don't want to answer that.
There was that representative or that CEO for one of the big magazines or something that got caught just going to town on himself in the middle of a Zoom meeting. Like he was in the middle of a Zoom meeting. He was an editor or something for one of the big magazines up in New York. And he was just fucking just going. I mean, he was beating it like it owed him money, apparently.
Well, it's like,
and he was like, I had no idea. And it was like, you were right in the middle of a fucking Zoom meeting. How did you not know? You had no idea my ass.
Like, my mother-in-law, she keeps a piece of electrical tape over top of her camera.
Mm-hmm.
Just because she's more worried about the kids using it and somebody sneaking view of what the kids looking at the kids. No, but like perverts or something hacking the phone, and I'm like, really? You're not to be mean, but you're not that fucking important.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're important or not, because the thing is that a lot of people, when they hack and whatnot, they're only doing it for money.
Right. Oh yeah, like blackmail style.
Yeah, so they can say, you get an email, hey Jeff,
here he comes again.
I got these photos of you. If you don't want them to go out, then if you don't want them sent out to everybody, then send me X amount of dollars. Me personally, I'm like, well, if you hacked in to see that little thing, I feel bad for you. Go ahead and let it out.
Show it. I'm proud of me and myself. I'm not ashamed.
Yeah.
Just don't show what I was looking at. Because you never know what I was looking at.
G said, your kids are ugly. You don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody wants to see that.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it's a lot of people, they put like Post-it notes over their camera.
Well, I mean,
just for that simple fact, you forget to turn it off.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm not on my laptop, it's closed. It's just it's just an instinctual thing. Now, I mean, if somebody hacked into my computer, the most they're going to see is my lame ass sitting here watching fucking
porn.
Stupid ass. No. I watch really bad movies, but I like them. But I'm so I guess
playing video games, or
if you caught me playing video games, because I say some horrible stuff to people. But so
I've never really gotten into the whole live gaming thing. I can't get into it.
I just have my headset on when I game so I can talk to people, because I have friends that I play with and stuff like that. So this story that I was saying, Amos there in Quebec, he said in a statement sent by email, it was sent by email because he ain't showing his face anymore.
I bet.
He said my video was accidentally turned on as I was changing into my work clothes after going for a jog. I sincerely apologize to my colleagues in the House of Commons for this unintentional distraction. So it sounds like it was a legit mistake. And
I doubt he was like, I want everybody to see my junk.
Yeah, they're not coming down too hard on him. But you know his coworkers, even though they're probably stuffy, old,
over 60 white men,
men and women, whatever. But know they're gonna bust his balls. They're gonna break his balls like nobody.
He'll never hear the end of it.
G has a new fetish, zooming.
Yeah, zooming. That's where I get my jollies off, on Zoom.
Just go on Omegle. There'll be
I found it funny. I found it funny that nobody really uses Skype, and Skype does the same thing, but everybody uses Zoom.
I think Zoom has more is more user friendly. Might have a little bit better features, because Skype is, from what I know of Skype, and I've used it only a couple of times, it's strictly video conferencing. It's
right.
Or video calls. It's not necessarily
right
set up for the conferences and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's true. I mean, I used Skype when it first came out, and when cameras were crap, and it was like, what's the point of looking at this anyways? But I don't know if it had the conferencing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it has the conferencing ability.
Yeah, I don't know. Skype is always, can you hear me? What about now? How about now?
Yeah.
Oh, now you glitched out.
You're
You
frozen.
you get a whole lot of that.
I was actually really afraid of this app, of worried about freezing and stuff like that. But we've never had a problem with that.
You have froze up a few times. I've seen it in the Facebook comments.
I think that comes down to my phone.
Yeah, you have froze up,
phone
but
I'm using.
it hasn't affected the sound, so it's not that big of a deal. You know, it's as long as the sound's still there. I had to check and make sure a couple times to make sure they could still hear you, so it didn't sound like I was having a retarded one-sided conversation over here. But
like when I went to go push that car.
Yeah. You're gonna have a lag. There's gonna be a delay between Facebook and here. So what you see, and even with the comments, there's going to be a little bit of a lag. But we see them. We can still interject with them and interact with them. Now they're showing up on here where they weren't in the beginning. So I actually had my Facebook pulled up, and I can see the delay on Facebook. Because what's on Facebook right now is showing Jeff frozen, and
right.
I don't know what the hell I'm talking about because I'm not listening, but you can see there's a big delay.
Right.
And on here, it's showing Jeff still good. Where when he freezes, I know when he freezes, I can see it. I just wanted to make sure that you guys can hear him and I can hear him.
Sorry, I'm still being bothered. Yeah.
Well, now it's
like looking at a picture.
Yeah, now it's getting dark there, G. So you know we're in a good.
Yeah, I'm waiting to get my phone back so I can actually turn my light on to see. But he's still using my phone because he apparently lost his phone.
You need to go to Walmart and they make miniature ring lights. They're only about.
I saw those.
And
I've been looking at a couple of them.
Yeah, they clip right on.
I've been looking at a couple of them.
And they don't.
They don't use a whole lot of power, though.
I don't think G likes you.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
You got your first hater.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you got haters, that means you're doing something right.
Well, I'm not going to say what your name is. I'm going to call you Willie G.
Is this
disrespect you? Feel free to send any complaints to
directly to my Facebook,
directly to the Facebook or Instagram page at Nonsensical Nonsense, or feel free to email us at nonsensicalnonsense.podcast@gmail.com with any complaints, and we will make sure we address them immediately. You're not hate-worthy yet.
Yeah, I'm not big enough. Okay. Espérame. Sí, entro de contacto. Sorry,
I don't think we're on Yelp yet. Just direct the Yelp review.
A Yelp review, yeah. That's